What it do? You're listening to the Chronic and Shank Variety Conversation podcast for winners and really cool people, where two brains from two different countries and zero filters collide in conversations that go wherever the topic takes us.
We're your hosts. I'm Shank.
And I'm Chronic. We have a variety of conversations about things that we love.
And we love to share it with all of you buds out there.
So, lighters unite, tune in, and let's get into it, because if you're listening to this, you're already a winner and definitely really cool.
Today's topic is TV shows and movies that pique our interests.
Oh, and as always, before we get started, remember to slap that subscribe button like it owes you some money and show that like thumb some love.
So, like I said in the intro there, Chronic, today we are going to be talking about TV shows, movies, miscellaneous intellectual properties that you can see in a visual medium, whether it's a comedy, a horror, or an action, doesn't really matter. We're going broad on this topic today, so that it gives us lots of things to talk about, but TV shows, I'm going to start us off with one that's very topical, if that's cool. It's very topical these
Go
days.
ahead. Go ahead. No, you're not allowed. Stop it.
It's happening. South Park.
Stop it.
I'm saying it.
Okay.
South Park. We're starting off with South Park. I have to. It's got a resurgence in popularity.
So we're starting off with some animated comedy.
Some animated comedy. That's right. So one of the OGs of animated comedy, I should say.
Oh yeah,
not
sure.
The OG because they did come out.
Okay, I do want to put this out there before we go on with South Park, because I'll probably forget to mention it, because I like talking about things and I forget to mention things.
Mm-hmm.
I understand South Park's praise. I totally get it. I get why people like it. I get why it's their cup of tea. It is not totally my cup of tea. Well, not even because the jokes don't land with me. I think that some of them are hilarious. I think some of they nail it in certain aspects that are great. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's the animation style that gets me.
I get that.
It
was a creative choice. It was a creative choice that not a lot of people.
100%, and I respect it.
Not a lot of people love it. Yeah,
I respect it.
Like not a lot, but what it is what I like about it is that it started off like very shoestring, and you could tell that it was basically like dudes having fun, like kind of like, just dudes having fun, making fun of shit. That's what it was when it started off, and just like being as in the face of pop culture as they possibly could be. And it's one of those things where, like, to this day, like, I will forever know, like, every time I think of the word kitty, I think, no, kitty, that's my pet. It's like, like that kind of thing. And it's like, and just like, it's topical nowadays because obviously they had that scathing episode with Donald Trump that was like absolutely like tore him to shreds, as they do. They're very successful at doing that. What they're known
for,
That's literally what they're known for. They will go after the jugular.
I'm about to say, by the way, I mean, Trump, for obvious reasons, they went after, but that's not the only. That's what they do. They go after anybody and rip them apart.
Exactly. Like they went after Tom Cruise. They've gone after John Travolta.
Everybody. They've gone. It's like a Family Guy's cutaways.
They turned Barbra Streisand into a giant mecha, like Godzilla type thing that was like basically like, and like had Barbra Streisand rampage around the town as a giant like mecha Godzilla Barbra Streisand thing. It was like fucking. They are not above mentioning anybody like at all. Lance Armstrong, like fucking. If you're in the media and you're popular, you're getting mentioned at some point on South Park, and they're going to probably tear down whatever you're going on about. Like Chronic said, Donald Trump, it's like easy pickings, but I mean, they haven't really touched on him at all. I just like the timing of it, I gotta say.
Yeah, I don't even think on his on the first run they
not really, no, a little bit. Like they did have like an episode where basically like
a little bit, yeah, I remember that. It was a little
America
bit
relations, and like it wasn't as like certainly wasn't as scathing as this one was. This one was way more like, but what I love about it is that they waited until just after they got like a multi-million-dollar deal with Paramount.
And then release something like that.
Which is the studio that just canceled Stephen Colbert for being fucking like for saying jokes about Trump. Like they were like, oh man, his ratings were bad and he wasn't making a lot of money on the show and stuff like that and everything else and that kind of thing. But he was like the highest rated show they had on their network. Like Colbert Report was like the highest rated show they had on their network. And it was making like tons of money year after year and more money every year. But they canceled it when he made jokes about Trump, and they were like, no, it's a financial decision. It's like, bro, that's stupid. You're like firing your top earner because he made fun of Daddy Trump, right? But Paramount owns the same network that fired Colbert, so they
Hmm.
waited until just after they got hired. They signed the contract, which the Paramount can't back out of. It's a legally binding contract, right? So,
Right.
like, I mean, they can, but it's going to cost them way more money than they possibly could ever like pay out or want to pay out. So like they signed the deal and then they released that episode and they're like, you can't fire us. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
even if Trump calls you up and says fire these guys right now, like
That,
like
that
it
that's
can't.
that's that's low-key the equivalent to whenever Family Guy got canceled. And back in season, I think after season three, they got canceled for like 3 or 4 years. Not
Yeah,
more
or
like
like
2 years. I
no,
think it was
it was
two
like two
years.
years. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like 2 years.
yeah, they
And
did
they
syndicated
actually
reruns for like a couple
they
years.
killed it on DVD sales.
Yeah,
So much so that Fox was like, okay, we're gonna bring this back.
yeah.
And the very first episode, like literally in the
Well, they
first
signed the
60 seconds,
contracts. Yeah,
right? They signed the contract. They reestablish a season four, higher budget, better, everything,
yeah.
their own studio location, and the first episode, the first 60 seconds, they go on and list like probably, I don't know, like 25 some odd shows that failed that Fox tried to produce.
Well, no,
They were
it
like,
was like, well, it was they what it was is they listed shows that Fox canceled that shouldn't have been canceled, and they had like you're right, it's like 25 shows or whatever. It's a long list, but Fox has like a long history of that as a channel. Like that's one of the
yep,
things that Fox has done historically as a channel because what happens is they don't want to pay the actors and everybody else on the show more money after a certain point. They have like a hard cutoff, and
yeah,
what they
they
try to
start with the
do,
same salary as like season one. It's
yeah,
it's
and
like, to put it in perspective to anybody who doesn't understand how much of a slap in the face is on the business. Imagine you start at a workplace and you get at starting pay, right? You work there for 4 years and they won't give you any kind of raise.
or hear me out. The second year you're there, they give you a raise. And then the third year that you're there, they give you a raise. But the fourth year, you go and ask for a raise, and they're like, no, unless you get paid half of what you're getting paid now, we don't even want you to come back next week.
Yep.
Like that's more what it's like
Yep.
because they're
Yeah,
like
we're
your
gonna
show's
we're gonna
really
down that a
popular,
little bit. Yeah.
and they're like your show's really popular, but we could fire you and start a whole new production for like less than it would cost to produce this season of your show. So we're just gonna like cancel your show and produce a new show and see what happens with that. And so like that happened with Family Guy. It happened with a lot of really good shows actually that they were fairly successful, but Fox was like, and another thing that they would try to do is because Fox owns a bunch of other channels, like they own like other subsidiary channels, like Spike TV and a bunch of other stuff and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And so what they would try to do in the
Spike
sci-fi
TV.
and the sci-fi channel and stuff like that. So what they would try to do is they would cancel the show on their main channel and then they'd try to sell it or get it pitched to one of their other channels so that they could buy it there for a lower cost and produce it for cheaper on
Yep.
another channel. And so like and a lot of people were like no, like like I don't want to do that.
It
And
kind of
like
like shattered the
yeah.
quality quite a bit too.
Yeah, and so they had a
So
habit of doing that. But like Family Guy is one of the like now I get that it's not everybody's cup of tea. That show is not everybody's cup of tea, but they did like single-handedly save Fox. Like, they Fox had
yeah.
no good shows
While
left.
shitting on Fox in the process, by the
Yeah, while
way,
shitting on Fox the whole
they
time, yeah.
never forgave Fox
No, no,
for what they did at all. They
no.
didn't, like, they were ruthless throughout each season, especially as Seth MacFarlane was still on the writing team. He had something to say about Fox.
Oh my God,
Uh,
yeah, dude.
like for sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where they like when that show came back, it took off, continued on, like, got better and better and better. And basically uh like those shows like South Park kind of led to the Family Guy being able to be a thing because people were like,
Oh
okay,
yeah,
I'm more
and of
like
course the
they
Simpsons.
were like
You gotta.
The Simpsons, yeah, and the Simpsons paved the way for all of
They're the
them, really.
OG. They're the
Like
OGs. So.
realistically, they paved the way for all of it, and like I know that a lot of people, again, they like a lot of people nowadays, especially, have a lot of negative stuff to say about The Simpsons, but that show is fucking groundbreaking.
Mhm.
And my favorite thing about it is that it's like a time capsule because the characters, even though they never age, the different eras of the show and the different times when the shows came out, like they have like references to different things that were very popular back when
During
the
that time.
episodes came
Yes,
out.
absolutely.
So you can watch like throughout the series and see like a real time social change and like a real time like basically like how society was viewing certain events at certain time periods and that kind of thing. And it's like almost like a fun time capsule now. Like, and
Yep.
even and people that like the show back in the 90s are like, oh, I hate it nowadays. The shows are all stupid and they're making the like Homer and Marge are getting older and Bart's getting older and blah 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 and everything and like stuff like that and they're doing all these and it's like, bro, that's this era of The Simpsons. Like that's how it works.
Yep.
Like and it's probably we're getting unfortunately probably close to the end of The Simpsons. I'm assuming because
No, I have to agree with that one.
like but
For sure. For
like
sure.
I think we're getting towards the end of The Simpsons, but like it's one of those things where like the show has a lot of different you can see those pop culture moments that are happening when the show came out, and that's what makes it interesting to watch. And like a lot of the most interesting, especially adult cartoons and that kind of thing, have references that let you know the era when it was made. You know what I mean? Like it's like it has
Right.
that generational identity, which is like Family Guy's got it a little bit. But it's a little bit newer, and they always tried to kind of like stay in their own timeline. You know what I mean? Like the Family
Yeah.
Guy show, they try not to reference too much outside media and stuff like that. Like, and if it's not old references, like they try not to do too much. Like it's mostly regular culture references rather
And
than
yeah,
topical
that's
ones.
that's honestly they do it like and they when they do hit like modern pop culture references, they usually nail it right on the coffin. You know what I mean? They hit it like
Hmm.
it's a perfect time joke. But here's
Yeah.
my problem. Okay, then this is gonna be. I feel like a lot of people are gonna agree with me, but it's gonna be one of those situations that you're gonna agree with me or disagree with me.
Yeah.
There's not really
That's
gonna be in
generally how
between.
most things are like that,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. Well,
Like,
everybody always has a but though. They'll be like, I agree, but like you know
yeah.
what I mean. And I'm like, I think this one's gonna be like, no, I still think it's good, or no, I
Well,
agree with you.
well, they say opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and most of them stink.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I got two. Anyways,
I got
so
three. Yeah.
I have 16. Anyways, Mr. Family Guy and
Septanus.
Mr. McFarlane no longer have a writing relationship. And they quit having a writing relationship after season 13, I believe it was.
Something like that.
And due to that was because he went and worked on the Ted movie, which was as you know, a very successful movie. Well, I'll even get onto
Well, it
that in
wasn't
terms
just
of
that. It
comic
was
book
mostly
movies.
that he was working on other he wanted to work on other projects, and he knew that he had like a team of talented writers that were writing already for Family Guy, and he's like, what it was is I think he told a story in an interview where he went to a writers meeting, and he realized like he was like over the course of a month they did like a bunch of writers meetings that had like they did like three per week for like a month or something like that, and he said that like by about halfway through the month he realized that at the meetings he was saying like maybe 4 or 5 words, and most of the time it was just to say that's a really good idea. And so he was like he realized he didn't even need to fucking be there because they were writing really good
Right,
stuff.
right,
And
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 here,
so he's like, I'll still do the voice acting obviously and whatever, but he's
which
like
he
if
still
I don't
does,
have
and I will say
yeah
he still does phenomenal at. He does a
he's
great
like,
job.
yeah, and he was like, if I don't need to write, that means I can focus on other projects. Like you said, Ted is one.
Yep,
A million
and
days
which
to a million ways to die in the West.
and you know, I totally respect that. I totally respect what he wanted to do because that's what he did. He went and did Million Ways to Die in the West. He did Ted. He worked.
Which
He's
is
still
one of the
currently
best
working on the.
westerns of all time, by the
It's
way.
goofy. Um, and then
Right up there with Rango.
what else did he work on? Oh, at the Orville, he's still doing that. And then he
The
also is
Orville is
doing.
fucking hilarious as well too, because as a Star Trek, like I was a Star Trek nerd growing up, like because you know how there's like Star Wars nerds and Star Trek nerds. I love both. Don't get me wrong. Like Star Wars is dopey, like dope as fuck, very cool. Gritty, Vietnam, guerrilla warfare, neat. Star Wars is like crazy. It's like giant empire, like management sim
Sci-fi.
with sci-fi. Like it's dope. And so I always enjoyed like Star Trek. And so um basically with Star Trek, um it was like it's one of those things where oh shit, sorry, lost my train of thought. But oh Jesus, had to take a sip of my coffee. I lost my train of thought for a moment,
Oh,
but
you're good. You're good. You're good. You're
yeah,
good.
but with like with those kind of shows, they it was like I like the utopianness of it, and like the Orville really kind of catches like Star Trek, but stupid. You
Right.
know what
Well,
I
yeah,
mean?
because
The Orville,
it's
yeah, the Orville
yeah,
kind of catches Star Trek, but stupid, and but in a really good way. Like the writing is really really good. The characters actually matter. Like he's not like it's not like a throwaway. A lot of people think it's like a throwaway parody where like the characters are
no,
just
it's
like dumb
actually no,
characters.
it has meaning to it.
Yeah,
Like
like and the
it's
characters actually have character. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not just like he's not
yeah,
just like making a
exactly.
parody
Yeah.
version of Doctors. He's not of Spock. He's not making a parody of Captain
No,
Kirk.
it's a
Like
legit show. It's in the
like
Star
yeah,
Trek universe, you
yeah,
know.
and it's like and it's
Um,
their own legit kind of thing, and it's in the Star Trek kind of vein. You know what I mean? Like it's got
yes.
that kind of like that feeling to it and that vibe to it, where it's like they're trying to put on an air of like our society is we're doing really really good, and our society is like super dope and everything else. But in reality, it's like what Star Trek didn't show, which is the grittiness of like it's like you know they're like the Federation, the United Federation of Planets are the good guys. They have like look at their ships, they're all clean and white, and all of the people walking around like the alien species living in harmony and blah 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 blah.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but what about those war crimes they committed? Like, are we going to talk about that? And they're like, shut up. We have replicators and holodecks, and
Yep.
we can teleport
Like
and visit alien
look
planets.
technology.
And they're like, but what about this planet of people that are repressed slaves and we just aren't going to help them because it goes against our prime directive? No, 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 no. Look over there. We have synthahol
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
synthweed. And so
But yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
The
and the
Orville
Orville
was
kind of
a
yeah.
solid show. It's a
And
solid
again,
show.
McFarlane's writing and his fingerprints on that show, like you can feel
You can
Seth
feel it,
MacFarlane
and it's
through
the
the
same
whole
thing,
thing.
obviously, with the TED show, and that's the problem I had with. It was pretty much after season 14. Um, you felt the lack of McFarlane's
Mm-hmm.
presence,
Yeah.
and honestly, at this point, I've tried, and I swear I've tried the last 4 seasons to watch it. It feels like a show trying to be a parody of Family Guy.
Yeah.
The best
And
way
you're
to
not
describe
wrong
it.
there because that is what kind of a lot of people noticed happened with the show because even though like McFarlane trusted the writers and everything like that, it's one of those things where when he was in the room,
Even though he said 5 words, those 5 words made such a big difference because it was his approval of if that
yeah.
was funny.
And
If
not only
something wasn't
that,
funny, he
no,
would be like, "No."
but not only that, but he was in the room. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And it's like and it's the difference between being present and not being present and not being present. Like he doesn't even need to say anything. Just by being in the room, the writers are going to be like, this needs to impress him when I say this. It doesn't need to impress the
exactly.
other writers in the room. It
It needs to
doesn't need to.
impress the creator of the
It
show,
needs to impress Seth MacFarlane.
my boss.
So they would write thinking, I'm gonna have to read this to him right now live,
Yep.
and so they would like write it as if they were about to do that. But when he wasn't in the room, they're like, I just need to impress these other writers,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
and the copy editor and the script editor or whatever. Like I only have to impress those people. I don't need to worry about him. He's just going to come in and read his lines. And
And do
so,
what he has to do,
and so
and then
they
leave.
would
You know.
be, and while they would probably keep trying to write in his style and write in the same vein of his comedy stylings, their own influences are going to slip in way more and more and
Yes.
more, especially
Naturally,
as they
naturally
get more
speaking, you know.
relaxed about him not being there. You know, it's like when the cat's away, the mice will play. So when he's not in the room, they're gonna like go, oh well, this idea, and like the other writers are gonna be like, oh, that's hilarious, and then they'll put it in the show, and Seth will just go in. He's gonna go in and read the script, but he'll go in, read his lines, and then go home for the day because he's got 13 other things to do that day, right? So
Yep.
like,
Yep.
so he just like he trusts the other people to do their job,
And
and
another
yeah,
thing a lot of people don't know about that is even from the beginning of the Family Guy show creation, that he had a co-writer called Mike Barker. His name was Mike Barker. Is Mike Barker? He's still with us. But around 2005, I believe it was, him and Seth decided to launch a new show called American Dad. One of
mm-hmm.
my favorite ones
Good
ever.
morning, USA.
So, in order to keep up with the constant pull of American Dad and Family Guy, they kind of split into terms of who was taking the lead of each show. Seth stayed with Family Guy, Mike Barker stayed with American Dad. And you could tell that's why American Dad
Yeah.
has that Family Guy sense and feel, and it still does to this day. Because here's the thing: Mike Barker never left. He's still
No.
at the American Dad writers team,
Yeah.
and he's doing things that are modern American Dad feels like Family Guy.
Well, and American Dad also got Patrick Stewart from Star Trek
Amazing,
as well.
absolutely amazing. They did
He
that because him
like
and Seth MacFarlane are great friends. If you
yeah,
guys
but the
don't know
but the
that,
fact that that man like I mean, first of all, I remember it's so funny because I
one
remember
of the
reading an
reasons why he
article.
actually got the Orville to launch was
Yeah,
because of
but
Patrick Stewart.
oh, absolutely. But I read an article a long time ago about Patrick Stewart, which is really, really funny because he originally was not going to be he is okay, first of all, I have to say this. He is my favorite Star Trek captain. My second favorite is Janeway. My third favorite is Cisco. My fourth favorite is Pike, and my fifth favorite is Kirk. And then after that, it goes down.
And the movie in 2009, is that supposed to be Kirk?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Chris
Chris
Pine's
Pine, yeah,
version.
he was playing Kirk, yeah, yeah. But basically, Patrick Stewart's Picard was my favorite captain, and like so. But the funny thing is he originally was not going to be in Star Trek, because he's a Shakespearean trained actor, right? So he's trained for
Right.
stage productions of
Yes.
Shakespeare, and he took himself very seriously. And he said in an interview that he took himself so seriously that when the script for Star Trek came across his desk, he was like, "What is this trash? This is space garbage. I want nothing to do with it." And his agent was like, "Listen, it's a TV gig. What it'll do is it'll get your face out there on TV. It'll get you other gigs. Guaranteed this show is only going to last for one season. You're going to go in, you're going to do one season. The show's probably going to fail, but we can get you other roles in bigger productions with that on your resume." And
Right.
so he was like, "Okay, one season." He's like, if he's like, "I'll go in, I'll do it for a season." And like it's like the show's gonna fail anyway. He was like, "Everybody who likes the old Star Trek, this new Star Trek's gonna fail, like guaranteed no success." And it was like the first season of Star Trek was like bomb numbers, did amazing. Like it blew up all the ratings boards. Nielsen ratings were across the like were above board, and like it got picked up for like I think it did like 12 seasons, and
Hmm.
he was there for every one of them. He stayed for every one of them, and by the end of it, he said that he's so glad that he took the job. Like even though he thought it was only going to be a one season gig and then he was going to move on to other things, he said that he was like that it was a life-changing decision taking that role, and he absolutely loves the Star Trek fandom now, and like he had no idea what it was when he was getting into it. And
Hmm.
like but like we were very close to like not having Captain Picard be Captain Picard. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Which I can't even imagine that. Like I can't imagine a world in which we don't have Jean-Luc Picard. You know what I mean? Like it's just the reason I drink Earl Grey tea to this day.
Right. Right. Or
Earl Grey hot.
what's his name? Oh hell, what's his name on the show? Bullock, or
Will Riker?
Deputy Director Bullock
Oh,
on American Dad, the character he plays on American Dad.
Oh, Bullock. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, Stan. I'm dating your daughter.
Smith.
My God, Schmidt. I'm dating your daughter.
That was a little Sean Connery in that one. But yeah, yeah. So I think it'd be a good time to
Sometimes you
move on
just have to slap
from
a
our
bitch.
animated show conversations.
Yeah.
I think by the I do want to mention the last thing I mentioned on animated adult animation. What is it, in 3 days roughly from
Yeah.
when we're recording this? It'll already be released by the time
Trio de
this
años.
episode gets released, I believe. Actually, I think it gets yeah, no, actually the same day that season 14 of King of the Hill gets released, this episode drops. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty dope.
Oh,
That's
I'm
pretty dope.
super fucking excited about that, actually, man. That looks amazing.
It looks awesome. It
Like,
looks
honestly,
awesome.
that show looks like it's going to be so good. And, like, but yeah, moving on from that, let's talk about some live action television shows and maybe
Absolutely.
movies. Maybe movie, actually, possibly even movies. But Actually, movies. I'm going to talk about movies real quick because there's something
Movies
I
is a
need to
good
bring up.
idea. It's a good idea. Let's do that.
Something I need to bring up. All right. So y'all listening may remember, and you chronic may remember that a little while back, not too long ago now, a Mortal Kombat movie came out. A new Mortal Kombat movie came out, and this new Mortal Kombat
Yep.
movie was not the old ones. Now the OG ones are good, both the first one and the second one, even with the shitty CGI and the terrible story writing. They were amazing movies, and I will fight you and win about that. But the new one that came out recently, the reboot, remake, whatever, was goddamn incredible. Me and my friends, between like me and my other buddies, we watched it like probably 20 times between the three of us back when it first came out. And like we had like a watch party together, like we got on Discord, we watched the movie together and everything. Like it
That's
was
dope.
wild. It was wild. Like when that new Mortal Kombat came out, well, the teaser trailer finally came out for the sequel. Carl Urban is going to be playing Johnny Cage.
Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher Bill. But he is going to be playing Johnny Cage,
I
and
saw that.
it
It looked
is
like he's good. It looked like he had
fucking
fun.
incredible. It looked so good. It was like one of those things where like I like the fact that they're doing the whole Johnny Cage thinks he doesn't have powers thing, which is like for those who know the lore of the games. Sorry, this is for those who don't know the lore of the games. Johnny Cage, people think he's just a movie star. He's just really good at martial arts or whatever, and like this is in universe that he has no powers. He's just a regular dude who's really good at fighting. But later on, you do find out in the games that his lineage is like he has like an ancestry of these crazy warriors that are like fucking like shadow warriors and that kind of thing. And so he has the ability to do like shadow kicks and teleport kicks and stuff like that. But he, as far as he knows, is just a really good fighter. But the reason why he's a good fighter is because it's literally genetically bred into him. He's like bred to be like the perfect warrior. And so he was originally supposed to be played by Jean-Claude Van Damme in the games,
Oh, that makes sense.
which is really funny. He was originally supposed to be played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, but Jean-Claude Van Damme declined for the game to use his likeness. He was like, "No, it's too violent. You're not allowed to use my likeness," which is funny for a guy that was in
Very,
Bloodsport.
yeah, coming from John Clanbot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude was
yeah.
literally in Bloodsport, but either way, he was like, "No, it's too violent. I don't want it," like that kind of thing. So they ended up changing it to Johnny Cage, and Carl Urban from the trailer plays the character perfectly,
Perfect.
like
Yep.
perfectly. He's not like the young, hip, like Johnny Cage that we got from the old movies, but he's basically the like an older like kind of like it's almost like the BoJack Horseman version of Johnny Cage. So like where he
Yeah.
was in all these badass movies and he wasn't like, he's still an incredible fighter, but like he's past his prime. Like he was in all these cheesy action movies like Caged Fury and Uncaged Beast and shit like that and everything else. And and he's like past his prime and gets pulled into Mortal Kombat, which is like but it looks so good. And like I know what they were doing. A lot of the main criticism I think of the first Mortal Kombat movie that came out was the main character of that they invented for the movie. It was a character that they created for the movie.
Okay, got you.
And so it was kind of told through the lens of this character who they was an original creation for the movie itself. But I kind of liked the concept because it reminded me of the old Mortal Kombat games where you could make your custom fighter. Like you could create a custom fighter
Right.
and like basically that custom fighter would be your player character and then you'd fight through the game with your character.
Hmm.
And so like it reminded me kind of that like basically and it's a good way of doing like because it's hard to do exposition in a movie that makes sense basically without you can't explain something to a character that already knows it, right? So if there's this world where magic exists and like everybody and their dog knows how to cast fireball, it's stupid for one character to look at the other character and go, "Hey, you remember that fireball spell that you know how to cast? You should cast that fireball spell that you know how to
Right.
cast." And it's
Right.
like, like or like it's like me looking at you and being like, "Oh, remember President Trump, the president of the United States of America, who's the president right now? Do you remember that guy? It's like, dude, of course you fucking like why would the character
Right, right.
explain it?
You
Like
got to keep insinuating
I
that.
literally
Like,
could
yeah.
just say, I'd be like, hey, the president did something fucking stupid, and you'd be like, no fucking way, and like that would be it,
Like, I
right?
know who you're talking about. I know,
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
so like
it's
when characters do that in movies, it's like it doesn't make sense for me to explain it to someone who like I don't need to explain Mortal Kombat to someone who's in Mortal Kombat, like somebody who's fighting already in the tournament. They don't need
yep.
me to go, "Hey, this tournament, Mortal Kombat, it's the tournament where you fight to the death for this guy." Like they know, they're already here, Like
Yes.
so having that
Yep.
character that has no idea what's going on to be like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Then someone can explain it to them and it makes sense because
Yes.
they're like, I don't know what's happening. And so I get why they did that with the first movie so that they could kind of explain what Mortal Kombat is to the casual movie viewer.
Right.
And like, so even as an Uber fan myself, who I know exactly what Mortal Kombat is, it did feel a little bit condescending having it explained to me. Like, because I'm like, I know, like, we all fucking know what Mortal Kombat is. That's why we're watching this movie right now. But at the same time, it didn't feel condescending because I understood that they were doing it for the benefit of the movie going audience that didn't have any idea. And
Right.
so like I feel like a lot of fandoms forget that when a movie gets made about their favorite IP, like the Resident Evil movies and stuff like that are great examples of it because they're
Yes.
perfectly entertaining movies. They are perfectly entertaining movies. Anybody who says that they're the trashiest trash movies of all time have obviously not dug into the bargain bins
No,
at movies.
they're actually quite
They
entertaining.
weren't they weren't exactly Resident Evil, I know.
The
Like I
Silent
get it.
Hill movies weren't too bad either,
Same,
you know?
same. And so it's one of those things where like the Uber fans of those properties need to realize that like
To be fair,
you need
okay,
to explain it to a regular movie going person who doesn't play video games. Like you
right,
need to
right.
appeal you when
It's
you're
like,
making a
okay,
movie, it needs
that's
to
like
appeal to
me
them.
getting mad at a studio, a movie production studio making a movie version of Alien Isolation,
Yeah.
but explaining more at the beginning of why Amanda Ripley's there and what she's doing and why
Yeah.
it's dangerous. Yes, as an Alien Isolation fan, of course I know why. As an
Yeah.
Alien fan, you know why
Or
it's dangerous,
yeah,
but they still
or
got to
like they
explain it.
have like because the way that they have to treat it is they have to treat it like every movie they make that people will probably may not have seen the stuff that came before it. So like when they were like marketing Prometheus and they're like the alien movies where xenomorphs hunted blah 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 and stuff like that. And then they're like now watch Prometheus where it all began and stuff like that and everything
Yeah,
else. And it's like, and like people who saw Alien were like, "Great, man. Like I figured that out already. Like why are you telling me, dude? Like I already figured that out. I saw the symbols and I saw the picture of the xenomorph. So clearly it's Alien." And like people that were like, why do they have to explain it to me, man? I already knew because in the third frame of the trailer, I saw this character in a mural in the background, and that's very clearly this character that's tied together with this movie. So like I already knew it was that. Why are they explaining that? And it's like, dude, because not everybody is gonna look at the background and spot something in like two frames of a of a
exactly.
trailer.
Yeah,
Like they're gonna like not see that or they're maybe they didn't see the other movies or whatever and that kind of thing, so like it helps to give them context and helps to like advertise the movie to people who have no idea what the hell any of this is, like if someone never saw
exactly.
the Alien movies and they watched Prometheus, they could be like, that's an entertaining movie.
Yep.
I don't know exactly what was going on, but cool. And like same with the Silent Hill movies. They won't understand the game if they watch the Silent Hill movies. They won't be like, "Oh, I know how to beat the game now." But that's
Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
yeah, but
And
that's kind of the point. Is because the like people who've beat the game, why would you want to just watch the game?
although there is a couple video games adaptations that I would love to direct um and write a script for because I feel like I could do fairly well. And that would be like,
Bayonetta, so that as she does magic, her clothes slowly strip off.
yeah, it's not but I feel like I could do a good Tomb Raider, like a legit Tomb Raider. I
Oh,
feel like
what
I
did
could
you
make that
say?
into a
You
franchise.
best not be throwing any shade on Angelina.
It's not her fault. It was the time it came out. Um, let's be honest, it was the time period it came out. It was a weird time for movies. Um,
I mean,
But
man, that Angelina Jolie fucking like honestly, that Tomb Raider was peak, man.
and then Hitman, a proper Hitman movie.
Okay, the Timothy Chalamet version, or not Timothy, Timothy Olyphant version was perfectly fucking serviceable. That was the best version that there could have been.
That
They
was the one that was what the 2015 one.
the earlier one of the two, like it was the
Oh,
one that came
okay.
out, yeah, the
Oh, like
Timothy
the
Olyphant one, yeah, like
2008
the
one or
earlier one of
something
the
like
two,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was fucking incredible. Dude nailed the role. He was like, I love Tim Olyphant anyway, anything he's in. Like I'm a big fan of his anyway. But like, but him as Hitman, that was peak, man. It was peak.
I want
People
to
were
I
like,
want to
oh,
redo it. Not that
47,
it was
they're like
bad, but I want to try it again.
47 wouldn't have been romantic with the girl in the movie and blah 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 and stuff like that. It's like that, man, that's not true at all, dude. Like it's like, yeah, like the Institute fucking, like at least that one had a more faithful version of his origin story. Because the second one, the more recent one, fucking like they were like, no, 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 they're not clones. They're actually just a bunch of kids we kidnapped from Serbia. It's like, bro,
And they're like genetically modified or
it's like
something.
they're like brainwashed. It's like MK Ultra. Like they just train them really really hard, and they like give them like drugs to stimulate their brains and shit like that. But it's like he's supposed to be a clone. That's the whole crazy thing, is like the fact that it's like it's not just a bunch of dudes who get trained as a, it's not the Red Institute, or the, what is it, the ballet, the Red Ballet or whatever, from like fucking Black Widow or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
like the
the
Red
Red
Room.
Room,
The
and all
Red
that
Room, like it's
stuff.
not like that where they just like take random people off the streets and train them to be assassins. Like that's not what it is. Like that's it's not the League of Assassins or League of
I
Shadows.
know they were
The thing
genetically
is like they
enhanced
clone
somehow. I
them.
just forget how.
Well, it's because they clone them. They're supposed to be like
No, no, no.
clones.
In the 2015 movie,
Yeah,
they
they
were
inject them with some kind of mysterious serum or
Captain
whatever
America serum or
that like
something.
brainwashes them and like fucking basically like turns off
The
their
action in the
emotions.
movie
And
was pretty decent. I'll
oh
give him
yeah, no,
that.
like
But
I won't knock that. Like that's and both the Hitman movies are good for their own things. It's the same
for
as
what
the
they were
Punisher
doing, yep,
ones. It's the same as the
yep.
Punisher ones. Like I love Tom Jane, like the Tom Jane Punisher. I adore now first of all, I do need to say this is only counting the movies, because if we're talking TV shows, like without any shadow of a doubt,
Nobody touches John Berthal.
we know John Barenthal is like the
No.
we know, and if he's in any movies, his movie is going to be the best Punisher movie, because he is John Barenthal is the, without a doubt,
He is the Punisher.
the best Punisher that there's been yet. But when it comes to movies, Ray Stevenson, amazing, amazing dude. Rest in peace. Fucking incredible actor, and his Punisher was really cool. It had a lot of substance, it had a lot of cool violence, had a lot of cool scenes. So yeah, it's a really cool movie, man. There's one scene actually, my favorite scene I think in the entire movie, is where this dude's like doing parkour on a rooftop, being all badass, like flipping around and shit, and he does like a side flip off a building. And when he's in mid-flight, Ray Stevenson's Punisher shoots it like a rocket, and it hits the dude midair and explodes him into like a million pieces. And it was like just like so like campy and gory action. I absolutely loved it. But in my opinion, like Tom Jane really got the broodiness of the Punisher right, you know. And it's the same thing that Barenthal has. It's like because Ray Stevenson's was a much more clinical, very
Hmm.
serious like Punisher, who was like very very clinical, very clean cut, very serious. But like, and there was like there wasn't that rage seething below the surface, like a good man just trying to like basically suppress a constant feeling of rage.
Mm.
And basically, like yeah, it's like one of those things where like Tom Jane had that in droves. And like I know like Barenthal has that in droves as well for the Punisher, but
Mm.
I'm talking movies right now. So if I had to say the Punisher movies, I'd have to say Tom Jane would be my favorite. But it's like I like a lot of the earlier, like the earlier Hitman movie was better. The earlier Punisher movie was better. It wasn't as gory, but it was just the character itself is portrayed better. But I think Barenthal's does it better than anything. Like
Bernthal's is comically accurate in terms of like that pure rage. The thing I like about like with Bernthal and even Thomas Jane's Punisher and Thomas Jane's Punisher actually returned for a little bit in a short film called Punisher Dirty Laundry. I highly recommend y'all checking
yeah,
out that.
that short movie was fucking dope. Like it
amazing.
was
It has
so well
Ron
done.
Perlman in it, the guy who plays Hellboy, which by that's a fantastic franchise as well. Um, the first two movies, at least, those were the one Ron Perlman played Hellboy. Those were great. Um,
Oh fuck yeah, I love those. The Hellboy movies were so good. Well, like all of them were good for their own reasons. The David Harbour one gets a lot of hate, like the newer
I
David
think it
Harbour
was
one.
horrible.
It's like, but it was
That
in its
ending
own.
scene was something to remember. That was the hell rising. That was crazy.
Yeah, but like I feel like it gets more hate than it deserves, and like I think it was a perfectly good action movie. Like, but a lot of movies do. Like, I find a lot of people are really hypercritical of movies because they don't exactly fit like they're especially when it comes to comic book movies and like those kind of
Yes,
things that are because like the one thing that a lot of people forget about comic books is that comic books vary from writer to writer, from series to series, from like character to character. Like there can be like multiple versions of the same character throughout a comic book's run history because like heroes in comic books and most TV shows and everything else are only as capable as they need to be for the story that's being written. So, you know, like it's like they can have any weaknesses or powers that a writer sees fit and like there's no point, there's no cutoff date for when you can basically like tell a character to stop changing. You know what I mean? Like you can't say, okay, this is
exactly.
like with Superman, they're like, oh man, like this was the best Superman, and what they shouldn't have changed it after that Superman, or this was like the best Spider-Man, and they shouldn't have changed it since like you know, and it's like, dude, that's not how it works, man. Like they constantly change and evolve, and you know, like they get more powers, less powers, and it's all varied depending on what the writer feels like putting into the story, you know, and so. With the Punisher, all of them are great. That's why I don't want to say like anything. I don't want to denigrate on the Ray Stevenson one, even though it's my least favorite of the Punisher properties.
It was still good in its own right. You know.
It was still incredible. It was still a great movie.
Yep.
Like it's like, and it being my least favorite, like in my opinion, doesn't mean it's bad. Like I don't like because that's the thing is if that's the case, generally I just don't mention it. It just doesn't even end up on my list. But it's like for it to be my least favorite, it needs to be one of my favorites. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like I definitely I enjoyed that, but like another movie series talking on movies, and since we're in the action genre, fucking the Matrix.
Oh,
The
absolutely,
Matrix,
Mr.
like
Neo.
and like Keanu Reeves, like you know, shot like sky. Well, he already was skyrocketing to stardom with speed and stuff like that. But man, the Matrix movies, like those, completely changed action. I
Oh,
think
absolutely,
as a
absolutely.
genre, and the new Matrix that came out, a lot again, it got a lot of hate, and people were like, you know, like oh, it's garbage compared to the original and stuff like that, and blah 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 blah. And I'll admit it was different, substantially different than the originals, but that was kind of the point of the movie. Like if you watched the movie, you understand why, like you get it. Like
Right.
people are like, oh, there's not like the glitches and there's not like you know like the fight scenes like are a lot smoother and stuff like that and everything else, and they don't have like the like you know like when he's using his powers it's a lot more like smooth and fluid than it used to be, and it's like bro, like like I understand like you want to hate on it, but like you realize that the movie was set like I think 70 years after the first movie, and
Right.
after
Quite a bit of time has passed.
yeah, and that's after the like the robots in the real world had a civil war between them, and like one faction won because it was more technologically advanced and like had better advances than the other one did. So like the AI that won the civil war or whatever, basically, which is funny because they were warring just like humans were. But
Yep.
basically, but when they won, they were more technologically advanced. So when they designed the new version of the Matrix to put Trinity and Neo into for the Matrix Resurrections, the new one that just came out, they built it with the newer technology with like better innovations, and it was like so when people are like we're like, oh man, they did the slow mo different and they did like this different, and it's like, yeah, dude, It's because the new computer had a better GPU, so like they didn't have to do like super slow-mo rendering for like things, and like it's like, you know,
Right.
like they had an in-universe
Yep.
explanation for why everything was so much smoother and cleaner in the new version of the Matrix than it was in the old movies, because the old movies were the old version of the Matrix where everything looked gritty and grainy, and when they were in cars driving down the road, the backgrounds looked recycled. Like they would do that just to give it an uncanny valley effect when they were in the car scene. Like they projected the street onto the windows rather than having an actual car on a street driving. They
Yep.
projected the background onto the windows so that it would have a weird flat like video game look to it. And they didn't do that in the new movie because they didn't have to, because the new version of the Matrix had real-time rendering. And it's like,
Because technology allows us to do that.
yeah,
Like
because
that's like me.
that's yeah.
I'm 24 years old, so when I was 7 or 8 years old, the very first Transformers movie came out that Michael Bay directed.
Mm-hmm.
And those first three, by the way,
Still holds
people
up, by
don't
the way.
know,
Still holds up.
still very well, might I add.
Still holds up.
Um, a lot of people don't know that that was the first movie to add reflections the way that they did into CGI animation. And there was so many moving parts, so many little things that they had
Yeah.
to do.
Well,
Those
at
animators
least
took
the way that they did it,
such good
like,
time.
yeah, the way that they did it, because it's funny too, because they actually got like the newer Transformers. People judge the all the Transformer movies based on the newer ones, insofar as like they're like, oh man, it's just like CGI slop and blah 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 blah. But that's like because the newer ones they stopped caring. Like the first few movies, they really took their time and put care and
Yes.
effort, and the system you're talking about was it was like a real time. Basically, it's one of those things that took advantage of ray tracing, because ray tracing
Yes.
wasn't a thing up until like, because like when I was a kid, when I was about 7 or 8, the internet didn't exist. Like it did, but it didn't. Like the internet
Right.
was
It wasn't
like
like yeah, it wasn't in everybody's
it,
home like that. It
no,
wasn't.
it
Yep.
was like dial up wasn't even like common in my neighborhood. Like people having dial up internet. And
Yep.
so
That's
like
what was
and
common when
so
I was younger.
yeah, and so in a very short period of time, I went from never being online to chronically being online.
Right.
But basically, like to being online all the time, and like, and everybody's connected. Like the whole world got connected really, really fast, and I kind of saw it real time. And like with like when like I think movies were a really big part of that, because they kind of spurred on the idea that technology would change that fast. And so like it's like
Yes.
that's what I liked about the new Matrix movie, is like it looked like it was on a better computer. You know, it's like when
Right.
you go from
And
a
that's
shitty laptop
even
to a
James
good computer.
Cameron,
And the
like James
Transformers
Cameron's
movies, same
Avatar.
idea. Yeah. Oh man, Avatar is wild. The amount of
Listen,
work
if you
that
didn't
took.
know that Avatar script was written in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh
He
yeah,
had the idea for that
he's
movie
been
for a
trying
long time
for.
and he
He
just
said the
right,
technology didn't exist.
it didn't exist. And then he watched the first Transformers movie and was like, "Okay, it's time." He
Hmm.
was like, "I can do this now." And
And
he started slowly working on it and
yep.
um ultimately
And
that was a great movie. The first 3 Transformers movies, 1, 2 and 3 as a trilogy were fantastic.
yeah, and the
Honestly,
lighting
it
system they
slacked
invented for
off
that, it's crazy too, because with Avatar they invented a system for that too. Because for the second Avatar movie, called I think it's The Way of
The
Water,
Way of Water. Yep.
I haven't seen it yet, but basically for that movie, they literally invented a new technique of using CGI to manipulate water to make it so that you could have like real life objects interact in a three-dimensional space with a CG object. So you could have like an actor put their hand down and grab something, and you could have a digital version of the water in the scene, and when the actor's hand interacted with the digital version of the object in camera, it would automatically
React
do
to
the
it. Yep.
fluid simulations and like everything
Yep.
else. And it made it so that they could do some things with CGI that they could never do before, like because they invented it.
Yep.
And
Yep.
and I think that's one thing I love about those kind of movies, especially the Transformers movies and stuff. People are
You
like,
also
oh,
got to
it's
think
just,
video games for that for motion capture, by the way.
oh yeah, yeah, and ray tracing as well.
Yep.
Because the fact that movies and TV shows can have real time scenes with real time lighting and real time reflections. The cool thing is that a lot of studios for their they use those giant screens. Basically, they're like giant like plasma screens that are
Yep.
super like 8K ultra images, and they're like giant, and they project the background onto those so that they can control the lighting and the background and everything in real time rather than using a green screen.
Yeah,
I
that's what
forget
it's
I forget what
the
they're called.
Mandalorian
Yeah, the
does.
Mandalorian used it to amazing effect.
Yep, they
Um,
did a great job with
and
it.
but that wouldn't exist without Unreal Engine, the gaming engine, the engine that was originally designed to make Unreal Tournament and Unreal games and that kind of thing, and was co-opted by the industry to make some of the best games that you've ever heard of. Um, Unreal is used to power those using ray tracing and RTX, which is like amazing, you know? Like, so if it wasn't for the gaming industry, like we wouldn't get a ton of movies. And not only that, without the gaming industry, Uwe Boll would be out of work too. So
Yeah, yeah, and that exactly, and the Transformers they slacked off honestly when Mark Wahlberg came on the crew because the studio just wanted Michael Bay to keep making them because they were billion-dollar movies.
yeah.
After that, they stopped being billion-dollar movies, and then honestly, I think the Transformers franchise took a good shift in direction by not going back to Michael Bay, but trying some other different directors out. Bumblebee was an awesome,
hmm
very
I've heard
heartfelt,
good
great
things. Yeah,
movie. Awesome. I'd highly recommend check it.
I'll have to watch it.
Watch it with your other half. It's a
Yeah, I have to put it.
fantastic movie
I'll
to
have to
watch
put it
with the
on the
other
list.
half. And then Rise of the Beasts. That was a fabulous movie. That was a fantastic movie. That was awesome. It was cool to see the Dinobots. Um, and then Scourge, he's voiced by the great Peter Dinklage. So he
Oh,
has a
dope.
very very strong cadence
Peter
in his
Dinklage's
voice.
voice is like dude has a fucking voice. Like he has like
Yep.
I loved him as in game he was like one of the highlights of Game of Thrones.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
He
without a
was actually
question.
so much so he's getting paid $1 million per episode the last season.
Hmm
Um, but
He
Peter
deserved it.
Dinklage voices him, and then Peter Cullen returned to voice Bumblebee or Octopus.
Nice, nice,
So, but
nice.
that's the if people don't know that's the original voice actor for Optimus Prime. Even
The
from the
original Autobots roll out
it's an
voice.
Autobots roll out.
Wonder if I have a voice on my voice mod for that. I'd be fucking dope if I did. Probably not. I've got one that makes me sound like Trump though. That's really funny. Y'all should check me out on Twitch, at Twitch TV Bad Names Games if you want to see me using my voice mod every now and then. Because
Oh, he does too. He definitely will.
yeah, I can put a wah wah on my voice. Man, I got all kinds of shit. But yeah, like it's so like there's like a litany of like movies, TV shows. We've talked mainly about action and stuff like that, but honestly, we can talk a little bit too about comedy because I know both of us are big fans of comedy. We're both fairly funny fellas.
Right.
And the new Happy Gilmore came out recently.
Old Eminem's in it too.
Yeah, the new Happy Gilmore came out recently. People who've grown up to be cynical assholes don't like it because they grew up to be cynical assholes. People who thought it was hilarious are basically people who maintained at least some semblance of their childhood, humor.
Right.
Because it's frankly just as funny as the original Happy Gilmore, in my opinion.
No, yeah. I mean, the original Happy Gilmore obviously did very well. I think a lot of people were skeptical because of how long it was since the original one came out.
Yeah, but I mean, it
And
makes
I
sense.
mean,
It's
obviously,
yeah,
that's what you're going to be skeptical about it.
yeah.
It's so long since the last one, and
And he even
and
said when the
I'm
original
a
one
sucker for
came
Adam
out.
Sandler movies, so
Well, I think back when the original came out, he even said like people were asking him if there was going to be a sequel and stuff like that. And he said it wouldn't make sense if he didn't wait until he was older. Like to
right,
do like he
right,
had said he's like it doesn't make sense unless I wait until I'm older because he didn't want to do like another like of the same movie where he's just
yes,
like a young golfer getting into golf doing something unconventional that nobody else does like it's funny because like he's disrupting the status quo, but
yes,
if he just did another movie it would just be more of
yeah.
the
It wouldn't
same.
have went as well.
And
Yeah,
and
it wouldn't
he
have went as
and
well.
as much as people don't think it, Adam Sandler has some chops. He has some like, when he doesn't want to do something,
Yes,
like it's like it makes sense. Like he's like, because he'll do a lot of stupid, what people consider stupid movies, but he has like if he believes in an idea, he'll do that movie. Like
oh yeah,
whether
absolutely.
whether it bombs or not, but like he's not just going to
He
do a
still had
movie for
fun
the
doing
sake
it.
of, yeah,
Yep,
he's not going to do a movie for the sake of just doing the movie.
and he
And
always
like,
got his friends to start him too,
oh yeah, and he treated them good too. Like he treated,
very
I
well.
remember there's a story, I think Rob Schneider told a story of basically they filmed I forget what movie I think it was Little Nicky. They filmed Little Nicky, and Adam Sandler called him up and was like, and basically was like, "Did it get delivered yet?" And Rob
Yeah.
Schneider's like, "What are you
Yep.
talking about? Like, did what get delivered?" And he's like,
It
"Well, I bought
wasn't. It
the car."
wasn't
And he's
Rob
like,
Schneider. It was. Damn it. Joe Dirt. Um.
um,
I know his name.
oh my God, yeah, Chris. Is it Chris?
I don't think it's Chris. It's not
No,
Chris.
no, he was with Chris Farley in that other movie though. Oh my God,
Man, what was his name?
why
David Spade.
can't David Spade? David Spade,
Yes.
yes, yeah, it was David Spade, and he's like, "Did it get delivered yet?" And David Spade was like, "Did what get delivered yet?" He's like, "I got you a car," and he's like, "What the fuck? You got me a car?" And he expected
Yeah. What?
like a cheap car or whatever, and he went out and it was like a Porsche 911 or some shit like that, and
Yep.
he had bought everybody in the production a Porsche, and it's
Yep.
like it's like, dude, you're fucking crazy, bro. Like it's wild, but like yeah, and it's one of those things where like anything Adam Sandler is he's like I mean I love him in dramatic movies, I love him in comedy movies. Like he's fucking hilarious. I mean he's like fairly unproblematic, you know, and like it's one of those things where like I personally think that it makes more sense for him to come back and to do the sequel to Happy Gilmore this much later in life.
I'd have to agree with that one. I'd have to agree with that one for
Yeah.
sure.
Because like why have another young Happy Gilmore movie?
Yeah, exactly. That's a repeat, and
It's
he
a,
knew that it wasn't necessary for a sequel. One
yeah.
movie he did that got a lot of shit, and I thought it was actually pretty entertaining. Was Pixels.
Yeah, dude. That
I
movie
thought
actually was
Pixels was
really
pretty
good.
cool.
It's like it was kind of a silly story, but it was still good.
Right, but you knew that going into it. You know
Yeah,
what I
like
mean?
it's
Like
yeah, you're like seeing pixelated fucking aliens and stuff come to life in real life. Like you know,
because
it's
that's
not
what
gonna be
they
a
got a hold of.
serious.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, the premise of it, like the way they ended up explaining how they
Yeah,
mimicked
why they took that
80s video
form?
games was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, I agree. Like using the whole the way that the radio waves traveled or whatever, like that's
Yep.
what reached them. Like they saw those characters and assumed that was like you know like, and it's
Like,
like
yeah.
I think
Yep.
that's kind of cool. Like well, it reminds me of I forget what it was, but like it was another show from a long time ago, like from a while back, where oh no, it was in a Star Trek episode actually, where
Oh, okay.
they got to a planet that was like way far away from Earth, and everything basically looked like kind of similar to 1950s era Earth, like it looked very similar. And they
Yep.
were like, "What's going on? Like, why does it look like Earth?" And it come to find out that the aliens had started receiving radio broadcasts from Earth, and the first images they got were like of those type of like 1950s TV shows and that kind of thing.
Oh,
Like,
okay. Yeah,
so they
yeah.
like modeled their society after that, and like the other stuff hadn't gotten to them yet or whatever, like that kind of thing, right? And it's like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, like you know, I mean,
Yeah, it's an interesting concept for sure.
doesn't make complete sense that they would just be like, oh, like this, like is this thing from this other planet. Let's mimic them entirely. But I mean, it is what it is. But it's the same idea where like that kind of the distance over like that the radio waves had to travel or the signals had to travel, like it made it take longer to reach them. And then once they got it, they were like, oh, let's send the 1980s aliens down or whatever. But
Right.
that was good too. I agree. Like it's like and Adam Sandler, in my opinion and not only can he make you like laugh like he can with like Happy Gilmore and with like Pixels and that kind of thing, but like the movie Click is
Click is a great movie.
one of the most tragic, poignant, devastating, heartfelt, emotion fueled like movies that you could ever watch in your entire life, and it's starring Adam Sandler. Like it's like and it's one of the most like when
That's a
you
great
watch that
movie.
movie,
Christopher
like
Walken.
yep,
I
yep.
you talk to my friend like it's your tone.
It's
You talk to
its
my friend like that again, and I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
That was the greatest walking I've heard in a long time. That was peak walking. That was peak walking. But like basically, but yeah, like Click and Uncut Gems. That movie was fucking wild.
Fantastic. Yep.
And like you know, so like he's got dramatic chops, he's got like comedy chops, and like it's just frankly hilarious. And I'm glad that they came out with the sequel to Happy Gilmore because I don't
Oh,
think they're
absolutely.
not going to do another one. Like, they're not going to do another one. They had all the people come back and reprise their roles that were still with us and that kind of thing.
And then a couple new
Like,
faces.
and a
So
couple new faces that are in there. Like you said, Eminem's, and he got Eminem to be in the movie.
you actually got quite a bit of
Um,
screen time too. It's pretty
and
cool.
yeah, and so it's one of those things where there's like, I'm happy you made it. I think it's funny. And overall, it's just, yeah, I'm just glad that there's still comedy movies coming out because, like, it's for a
Yes.
little while there, it was mostly like drama or edgy, like horror movies all the time.
And don't get me wrong, there's always a time
And
and place for
superhero movies,
those
which I
movies,
love,
but
and again, yeah, I like those kind of movies. And like, you heard every time there's like, oh, did you hear about the new movie announcement? It was probably going to be either a horror movie or a superhero movie. Um,
yep,
but it seems like we're finally getting some more comedies, which is great. Don't get me wrong.
absolutely.
Again, we fucking had a whole episode about superheroes, so we're
Oh
happy
yeah,
when
we love our
we're happy when
superhero
we hear,
movies.
and a whole episode about horror. So we're happy. Go back and watch those if you're and listen to those if you haven't already listened to them already.
Yep, exactly. Because
And
we're on
well,
episode
yeah.
9 now, so you guys get at least 9 hours of content
Yeah,
to
yeah.
shuffle
So
through.
yeah, so you get some good listening to. We'll last for a whole night's sleep if you start from episode one.
Exactly.
But basically, like, so we love horror and we love com action, we love like that superheroes and that kind of thing. But comedy movies are fucking hilarious. Like, I love the classics like Biodome, um, Blast from the Past, like anything with Brendan Fraser in it, anything with Pauly Shore in it, anything with John Leguizamo in it.
See,
Um,
I really, even though the internet might be not great of a person, but I really loved Pineapple Express. That was a great movie.
Yeah, see, Seth Rogen, totally fine. James Franco, what the fuck, dude?
As
You
yeah,
disappointed
yeah,
us. We are
pretty
very,
hardcore,
we,
man. You're
we're,
supposed to be Harry Osborn. You
yeah,
fucked it all up.
we're very fucking very disappointed. Like, fucking piece of shit. But Pineapple Express was goddamn hilarious. It was fucking
Yes,
hilarious.
absolutely.
It was hilarious. It was like a stupid good movie. It was really well made, and like, and I
Cheech and
attribute
Chong
that.
Up in Smoke.
Yeah. Oh my God, Cheech and Chong. Like, all of the movies, all of the Cheech and
Hmm.
Chong movies are just fantastic.
Hey
Like
man,
the
how's my driving? I think we're
I
parked,
think we're parked,
man.
man. Yeah,
It's
it's like,
fantastic.
well, my favorite thing, actually, is funny. I used to have the comedy skit from Cheech and Chong, like those guys. I had a comedy skit on my MP3 player when I was a teenager, and I had an MP3 player before my phone was my MP3 player.
Hmm.
I had one of the tracks, so it would randomly come on throughout the day, and it would start off with a knocking sound on a door, and then you'd hear Tommy Chong come in with, "Hey man, who's there?" And then Cheech would jump in. He'd be like, "Hey man, let me in, man. It's Dave. Let me in, man. The cops are after me, man." And he'd go, "Dave?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it's Dave. Open the door, man. Let me in. It's Dave." And he'd be like, "Dave's not here, man." and he'd and he'd like and then he'd like bang
Dave's
on the
gone,
then he'd bang on
man.
the door and he'd be like, "Dave's not here, man." And then he'd like bang on the door and he's like, "No, man, it is Dave. The cops are coming after me, man. I got the weed. Let me in. Come on, man. Open the door. Let me in, man." And he's like, "Dave, Dave." And he's like, "Yeah, man, that's Dave." And he's like, "Dave's not here, man." It's
I don't know
just,
what to tell you. And
just
then
like,
yeah, and then Tommy Chong and that 70 shows Leo is pretty much like
yeah.
a 100% burnt out version of his character on Cheech and Chong.
Oh yeah, but like me saying, like, I still to this day, like all the time, like frequently, if one of my buddies will be like, "Hey man," it's like, "Hey man, are you there?" I'll be like, "Dave's not here, man."
Yep, yep,
Like, it's like, Dave's
yep,
not here, and like they're just like, it's like, "Oh, like, what are we smoking, man? This shit's crazy." Yeah, man, it is the shit. It's like, "Oh man, yeah,
yep.
what is this shit?" "Oh, it's shit. It's dog shit." And he's like, "What?"
Labrador.
He's like, what is it?" And he's like, "Labrador." He's like, "It's Labrador. Labrador what? Labrador dog shit." Fucking like,
It's yeah, yeah. And he was like, "You, I've been smoking shit, bro." I love that.
yeah, but
Classic movies, man. Classic
like,
movies.
so
But
good.
honestly, we could go on and on and on and on about movies and how much we love them.
Very
We'll definitely
true.
have way more episodes about that
Oh
in the
yeah.
future. There's many that we didn't tackle and
Well, what we'll
many
probably
that
do
we'd
for
love to get
future
into. I
episodes
mean,
is we
yeah,
can we'll pick specific movies, especially if you buds comment them down below. If you comment
right.
movies,
Yep.
like specific movies that you would like for us to talk about, if we haven't watched them, we can watch them and then we can talk about them. And if we
Yes.
have watched them, then we'll go based off our experiences. So, yeah,
Amen.
suggestions are
Yep.
welcome. Yeah, they're welcome.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I think we're gonna call it for the night. I believe we're gonna roll the outro. And like we said,
Yep.
remember to like, comment, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments down below. Give us suggestions for future episodes, and we would love to hear them.
Absolutely, y'all. You guys have a fantastic night, and this is going to come out on a Monday of the 4th of August. Have a great month and have a great week.
Roll the outro!
Peace.
So that's it for today's episode. Remember to share your opinions on the topic down in the comments section down below so we know how you feel about things, and maybe suggest some ideas for future episodes.
Also, you can check out our social media on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and more in the description below.
And if you're watching this or listening to it on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe because it helps us fight the algorithm overlords.
And thank you all for hanging out with us today, and we'll see you next time on the Chronic and Shank Variety Conversation Podcast.